Thank you, Count Corla. As it's our first day back, I'd like to wish everybody here a happy new year, including yourself. I'd also like to say that as the important issue of the mother and baby homes is being raised later rather than neighbour, the point I'd like to raise another issue of national importance. Taoiseach, utter disruption has ensued since the 1st of January at ports, within businesses and the supply chain. Do you intend to allow the disruption to continue to the detriment of Ireland? Food is being destroyed, businesses are failing, jobs are and will be lost. The consumer will pay a hefty price in their shopping basket if this is to continue, particularly those on low incomes. So can you tell the people how the government intends to prevent this happening? Count Corla, last year, Customs dealt with 2 million declarations. Now they expect to deal with 20 million declarations. That's 54,794 a day. And if you add to that the ENS and the PBN declarations, that figure trebles to 164,382 computer entries daily. There are only 500 Customs and Excise staff. It's currently taking 4 hours to do one declaration. And that's why the boats to the UK are empty, that's why the shipping routes to Fishguard are cancelled, and that's why our shelves are emptying. Government said that they were disappointed in the numbers of people applying for the grant to train staff to do customs documentation, when in fact those that did apply were being turned down by Enterprise Ireland, a fact that was denied by government departments last year. The problems we're facing today were notified to the government of the day as far back as 2019 through the then Taoiseach Simon Coveney. No notice was taken then either. Yet Count Corla Customs and Excise readily assured this government that things are moving steadily. Trade is slow. Yes, it is, and it's their fault. The revenue system has failed twice, and that has seen foodstuffs going rotten in trailers. It's kept drivers away from their families, sitting in ports for up to 5 days. In addition to revenue, there's the Department of Agriculture, carrying out sanitary and phytosanitary checks. Another utter mess requiring 24 hours notice. So I'd like the Taoiseach to explain why the EU has removed most, if not all, UK food producing companies from the TRACES system, thereby making it impossible to generate the required health cert to bring food, animal or plant-based products into Ireland. Again, this will lead to more empty shelves, loads that don't arrive or get turned back. I'd ask the Taoiseach to answer. Thank you, Count Corla.
For the question and for the issues raised, and by the way, I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year as well, and may 2021 be better than 2020, in particular in respect of COVID-19. And obviously we sympathise in particular with all those who've lost their lives, and particularly most recently as a result of COVID. The Deputy's question relates essentially to the impact of Brexit. And we've been very, very clear now for quite some time that Brexit essentially means that the seamless trade between the European Union and Great Britain is a thing of the past. That is a reality. And there will be delays at ports, as importing goods from Britain is now much more complex. As the Deputy herself has said, we're going from 2 million customs declarations to 20 million customs declarations. The UK has left, the United Kingdom has left the single market, and it has left the customs union. And that creates additional burdens. There's also some evidence emerging that many UK companies were not as prepared as they could have been in relation to the realities of Brexit and the various additional checks and controls. But the state agencies are working flat out and are working together to try and ensure that checks and controls are completed as efficiently as possible. This is a 24/7 operation. There are over 1,500 additional staff working across the state agencies on this, 1,500 additional. We announced a number of new measures. You referenced the Ready for Customs support scheme. We're anxious that companies would take that up, and that, yes, and you know, we've been trying to push greater applications and greater engagement with Enterprise Ireland in terms of that particular scheme, because I think higher numbers could have been accommodated in relation to it. Hundreds of containers are getting through customs every day, and the numbers are gradually increasing day on day. 2/3 of imports for businesses who've engaged with the full suite of revenue customs procedures are being green routed directly out of the ports on arrival. Some were coming in without paperwork correctly done, and that just is the reality. And this is going to take, people are going to have to adjust to the new realities that Brexit has brought about. The key message we have for businesses is to work with revenue and other agencies who are available to help them. There are regular meetings between government departments and stakeholders, including retailers who aren't reporting any major shortages. There's also a technical briefing, which the Deputy might be interested, by officials for Oireachtas members this afternoon to deal with any queries members are receiving. We know that shipping operators have increased capacity on the direct routes, as you know, to Europe, Cherbourg, Dunkirk, Zeebrugge and Santander, and ferry operators have also increased the frequencies
Time is up, Taoiseach, thank you.
On sailings.
Deputy Murphy.
Ceann Comhairle, I think what the Taoiseach needs to understand is that the only reality that people will face with Brexit is a 50% increase in the shopping basket, particularly to those of the low-income earners. And I think, Taoiseach, when you discuss to me that we have a capacity, an increased capacity in the direct ferry service, one that you said wasn't required when you endorsed an IMDO report that categorically was held up by every minister in this House to say that no capacity on the direct service was required. And only for I had input to that service to ensure it happened. And we still do not have enough capacity on the direct ferry service. And there has been no input by government to the request of those who need help in this particular area. We need more boats, we need antigen testing at the port, and I prefer, if you didn't quote the rhetoric that you're getting from the state agencies, to somebody who has been involved for 30 years and is dealing with the whole sector literally on her own, because nobody in government is listening. It is not the end because Brexit transition period. It is the beginning. And when the shelves are empty, I hope you will come into the House and apologise to the people in the same way that you're not able to do anything about the direct shipping service. I'm asking you to give Rosslare Europort the 200 million out of the 1 billion contingency fund. It is now required. The infrastructure is under pressure. That is now providing the infrastructure for the country to continue trading. I'd ask you to take that very, very seriously. Thank you, Ceann Comhairle.
This government didn't bring about Brexit. There are issues in terms of rules of origin that it will impact on some food products, which directly result from trade, the legal framework governing trade, and some significant anomalies in relation to certain goods, for example, that are manufactured in Europe, that would have their main bases in the UK in terms of supplying the UK and Ireland. That has happened in respect of some products. And because they're reboxed or whatever in the UK, there's a difficulty in accessing accessing the Irish market, and in some instances would be subject to higher charges. I mean, these are the realities of Brexit. This is not something we occasioned or caused. We have to deal with the consequences of it and try and iron out some of these anomalies. But those are the realities. And in relation, sorry, there's a whole range of supports have been given to people. There's 1,500 additional public servants, and Enterprise Ireland is giving money to many, many employers, but we would want more to apply. We've said that.
Thank
and
you,
it's available,
Taoiseach. Time is up.
And that is still an awful lot did get it. Come on. I mean,
please, we can't have
and also then there's been a range of business and agricultural supports, as you know, loan grant schemes to support business to get ready for Brexit,
Time is up, Taoiseach. Thank you.
and so on.